What does the word change mean to you? It's a very simple, it can be a very simple word, or it can be a very deep, philosophical word that has meaning towards you. So I just want you to spend a moment to think about that word change. And then I'm going to prompt a few questions into this video, and we're just going to discuss that word together. You're obviously just going to get my opinion to start off with because I have no one else here, but you can have your input as well by putting your comments below, and I will try to prompt future videos by answering that. So that's our way of building out our community, and I'd love to have engagement with these people. So if you didn't write the word hello, please write the word change so I know that you got to this part into the comments below, and give us your thoughts on what that word means to you. Now, do you like change? Or do you resist change? Is change a good thing or a bad thing? Where do you fit into the continuum? Don't overthink it. Start off simple and we can go deeper together. So I'm going to go through the journey of it. Do I like change? Well, at the very start, what comes to my mind is yes and no. It depends, because I'm a bit of a analytical person. I just have like this explosion of different perspectives. But the good thing is, with that, I can hold two perspectives of it. I can be the positive and talk on the affirmative, and I can also speak on the negative. And I think that's what I'm going to do with the way that I'm going to structure this video. So let's talk for the first part. I'm looking at the clock at now. It's been 3 minutes 34. Let's talk for about 10 minutes about the positive parts of change. Change is good in the sense that it allows for variety into our lives. Now, the definition of change is, well, I'm making it up as I go. My definition of change is to rupture, to create contrast into a standardized routine, to create chaos into something that was in order. So to put it out specifically, if it was always 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, change is literally just gone 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. So it's a disruption of what happened in the past to into the future. So that's definition of change. Change is a good thing because, like I said, it adds variety into our lives. And we need variety into our lives because we are emotional living creatures. We are emotional beings. And emotionals, where it's chemicals, and we don't like our particular way that we're made. Our emotions do not like to be inert, stagnant. I don't know if I'm allowed to use the word inert. I'm just trying to articulate my definitions. So what I've come up with is that we're emotional beings, and our emotions, the way they work, they don't like to stay at one particular state. They like to change. They like to keep moving. Because if they don't move, we get the feeling of what we commonly define as boredom. Boring. Boredom. And the state of boredom, it means that our emotional states are just staying constant. Now, think about like what boredom feels. What does that feel? It's actually very painful, emotionally. Have you remembered the last time you were bored? Are you bored now? Hopefully not, because you're listening to me. But if you are, it is what it is. I accept that. But the state of boredom is that nothing interesting is happening around. Interesting. The fact of the word interesting means that there's a change. It means there's a little bit of variety, a little bit of unpredictability in the world that's around you. You didn't see whatever happened. So what that does is it's taken what could have been a bored state, which is like a flat line of your emotions, it changed the direction of it. Okay, so it's gone from a straight, and to keep it simple, it either goes up or it goes down. 2 directions. Now, if it goes up, it's a positive change. It's a little bit of a good thing happen. Could be that you're walking on a path, doing a video, and you stumble across $50 on the floor. Hey, that's awesome. I picked that up. Hey, get a little bit of an emotional kick. Something changed. I've been walking for that. Just cut that straight back through because my earbuds just fell off. Now, if you picked up $50 on the floor, that was a state change. I've been walking along for the last half an hour nearly, and something just changed, and it was a positive change, so that went up. It can also go down as well. Like I could accidentally trip over, heaven forbid if that happened. That would be a down state. So that changed the emotional state. So that's change. So the definition that's happened so far is that change alters our state of mind. It alters our emotional rhythm, if I can use that word. And it could be positive or it could be negative. It creates uncertainty, unpredictability into your world and onto your emotional state. Now, this is where it kind of gets good and bad, because uncertainty in my formula, uncertainty equals fear. Fear is simply uncertainty. They're one or two of the same thing. Ceteris paribus. Uncertainty is fear. Now, suppose, this is where it comes to where people don't like change. So if you are disagreeing or change, and I think you agree with what I'm about to say and how I'm going to define this. Suppose all those changes were always going to be like that example of me finding $50 on the floor. They're always ups. Up. You always get the positives. It's like a gamble. Uncertainty, gamble, risk. All these words are quite familiar. They're all of the same family. You like positive changes. Yeah, sure, who doesn't? Because it's like arbitrage of life, right? You're always just going to win. But then, if you look at it, if you're always going to win, you've now created a routine, right? A routine. An ordered routine, a predictable routine, one that always wins. Now you've just changed that definition. You're basically living in a world that doesn't change. But you can't have that, right? In order, like I said, if it's always going to be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and if that 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 is always coming across $50 on the ground, there's no change. It has to be a contrast. Something has to happen. So the line has to dip down in order for to remain consistent with my definition. It has to create chaos in what was ordered. So in that simple situation, if you keep picking up $50 on the ground, you actually have to kind of like drop $50 on the ground. Like you might, heaven forbid, you check your internet banking, you realize someone's just siphoned money out of your bank account. It's like that. Now that's negative change. That's a negative event. I don't know about you, but I'd hate it if that happened. But that remains consistent with my definition that I gave you. It's uncertainty, which is fear. And I'm going around in circles there. See how it kind of all just beautifully wraps up. So now I've spoken enough about the good parts of change. Let's talk about the bad parts. And I've already implied what is already bad. It's always those negative jobs. It's like tripping over whilst you're walking, filming a video. It's like your earbuds falling off whilst you're in the middle of the recording, and it might have just ruined the whole entire, and it just creates emotions of frustrations and just changing states of emotions. So that's when change, those people who don't like change, it's probably that way of thinking. They always believe that there's always going to be a consistent negative events happening in your life. Well, here's the kicker. Change is inevitable, regardless of you in this universe. Change is always going to happen. And even if you think change is not happening, it is happening regardless of you. You are not an influence to whether or not the universe changes or not. That's quite philosophical. So change is going to happen regardless. So the question can't be, do you like change or do you not like change? The question now has to be, how do you manage your life, your world, your reality when change is inevitable? How well do you manage it? How well do you manage when you get those ups, those positives? And how well do you manage when those negatives happen? So that's all philosophical parts. And I'll leave you to think and put down the comments below on your thoughts and how that generated your thoughts. Now I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about stories about change that's happened in my life, and I'll wrap that up and wrap that part of the video with this part. So this is like the part 2 of Henry and how I experienced change. Well, the year now is 2024. There's lots of things that have changed in my life. Some good, some bad. Without going into too much detail, I'm going to try and keep it as general as possible. For once, I'm no longer in my 30s. I'm now in my 40s, so my decade has changed. I feel like I'm kind of stuck for a second. My values change as a person. The person who I was in the 30s, I feel as though that there's going to be like a seismic sort of shift in my values. There's a lot of different perspectives that what used to be, what I thought that I was programmed to live by, changed. Kind of like an update, kind of like a review on how I used to look at the world. The way I look at work, or the way that I look at relationships, the way that I look at my life with health. With regards to work, now I'm not classing work as like in the most simple sense. I'm looking at work as like how I'm contributing to the world that I live in. Things are changing in the sense that I realize that I don't like working for other people, regardless of what it is. I just don't like working for other people. I just don't enjoy it. It doesn't give me the satisfaction that I desire. I feel more inclined, more attracted towards doing something for my own sake and trying to send it out. I'm talking about like entrepreneurship and starting my own business or content creating, that sort of world, as opposed to doing the traditional work for someone, a trade of time, money, energy, location for money or rewards or a trade, an exchange in that sense. So that's one that I realize. And without going too deep, and I want to try and keep to the change, so that's part. With regards to my relationships, there's change there too. So I've got like a new set of values from going forward in relationships. Like my values have changed from what I was when I was 30s to my 40s. I now live with 5. Here are my values for relationships. Now I'm talking about relationships with regards to, the one person who you devote your life to. My current values now, my updated values now are these 5. I'm just going to quickly brush through them. I might make a separate video on them as it is. So in not a particular order, but somewhat ordered. That's a really horrible way of saying. Number 1, alignment. Number 2, communication. Number 3, trust. Number 4, growth. And number 5, emotional chemistry. That's the quick demo run through of my values. And for any of these type of ones, just write down the comments below. You can write down the word values if you want me to make a video on that one. Or you can write down the comment work if you want me to talk about the first video. No, the first topic that I said. And the last one was health. I changed my, this one's the one that's least moved into. It's seen the least out of the 3 pillars. And my value for health is simply live the life, have the body that I can do what I desire to do without any sort of form of physical restrictions, and remain good health for as long as possible. I know that sounds so vague. So I'm not really big on exercise. I'm not really big on trying to get buffed or trying to look a particular way. I just want to remain healthy, but to consistently every single day do something to sustain. Now, that may come across as the most weakest definition out of the 3, and I must admit that it probably is, because it's the last one that I kind of consider, because I think, generally my health is pretty good. That's the way that I look at when I'm, into this new decade of my life. I don't have anything particularly more that I want to talk about change. There probably was stuff, and I'll probably think about it once when this video is actually done. I might be feeling a little bit of video fatigue. I believe I've been doing this for almost an hour now, which is quite a feat of its own. So this is video number 2 of these type of journals. And I might make a third one. I want to go into a different topic, and we'll see how that kind of goes. So hope that you can join me into that one. And if you like these particular videos, it's the new way of making videos. I just want to get out there and put content out into YouTube and see what happens with it. So hope I can catch you in number 3. And till then, take care, friend. And I shall see you in video number 3.